I would love to welcome our viewers. It's great, Mladen, that you are here again. I must to tell for you openly that I enjoyed really our talking. Little I was feeling myself like we are before 20 years ago when we were students on the faculty, when we were little talking. And I must to tell for you that I received very positive feedbacks and very positive emails at Game Changer. So we will trying to continue on the same way. And we can say for our viewers that in the next episodes coming, our superstar guests, we are trying to invite really big names from basketball players and coaches. Today with Mladen, we were talking about arguments between Europe and the United States basketball. Also, we will saying our best five ever from NBA, mainly from those players who we viewed as players before, or we are following at the moment as coaches. And then at the educational part, we are talking about individual player development on position 5. So let's start, Mladen, immediately. So you was in Dallas Mavericks. What you can say about us, little about the workouts in America, and what you saw practically in these workouts about the systems, what you can say about us, what is maybe different like in Europe, maybe player approach, maybe coaches how talking with the players, stuff is much bigger. So what is your experience about it?
Okay, first, a big hello to our followers, and I'm very glad that we have so many positive views and let's say great because like we speak before, that was our pioneer set first one 2 weeks ago, and we kind of been a little bit worried about how it's going to be, and I'm glad that we are upgrading our system and upgrading our followers, which is the most important thing. Second of all, I'm very glad that we can share our experience and we can talk about it in many levels. What that means. Very important thing for players and for the coaches is that we're all the time educate ourselves in examples from, let's say, other teams, other players, other coaches, and we can make good we can compare our way of working with everybody. You know what it means. So like Kobe Bryant once said, the whole world is one huge library that we learn all the time. Now, me and you, basketball is life, let's be honest. And that's why we want to, let's say, approach in a very professional way and a level to make everybody more understand how important is to put great effort on it and how to, let's say, enjoy in the same time. Because when I was in States, the most important thing, let's say, when we approach every single game as a primer thing was on the big board, they said, for example, run the floor, open the fast break, run on your own lines, fast break, then go to offensive rebound, spread the floor, make a good timing, make a good spacing, give the chance your teammate to play one-on-one. When you catch the ball, be attack immediately to the basket. And the last one, I'm just give you the examples. There is so many things, but the last one, very important, was for me, which is very important to say to everybody, was have fun, enjoy the game. Why? Because in that way that you have fun and enjoying the game, you actually giving 120% of your, let's say, that day sharpness or way of you approaching the game, because every single day it's, let's say, it's different way of your form. Now, when you give 100% of your playing mode that day, of course that you will have, let's say, very good result. So that was for me very good. What I want to mention again is the conditions for working. I played there for 2 summer leagues with Dallas Mavericks. First year we play in it was Long Beach, 7 days, 6 games, and the second one was in Rocky Mountain Review. That was in Utah. So usually we play those two tournaments. There is so many NBA teams. usually those teams are selected players who want to try to play in NBA, and of course the draft picks. So, for example, in all NBA teams, you have your own franchise player. Let's say that player has all credits. He can do whatever he wants. Of course, in team of way of philosophy and how the coach approach. Okay, when I was in Dallas, okay, the main guy was Dirk Nowitzki, the guy who I really admire the most. They play elbow motion for him. When he catch the ball on elbow, usually on the left side, the wingman clear the side and go on the weak side. And he has, let's say, all that side to play one-on-one. That is their main goal. Okay, when I come there, they also make that for me, because usually the right-handed players shooting from a left dribble, right, and usually go penetrate on the right side. I was a little bit different. I like to penetrate on the left and dunk with the left hand, and I always shoot very good step back shoots from left hand and one or two dribble jump shot from the left side. But that doesn't matter. Why I'm saying this? I'm saying this because they also make the same approach as their, let's say, first team, Dallas Mavericks. It was an amazing team that year. And second, they also put that in the same way in those tournaments that we played every single game against different teams. Okay. Now, the most important thing, why are, let's say, NBA players and NBA association, or you can say US basketball or whatever, they really think about small details. For example, all the players has their own basketball coaches, individual. They're working. They're guy who is taking care about the food, free throw coach, a 3-point line coach, strength coach, condition coach. So they have really so big, so many people around them. They really work on details, and they say like this: there are no team condition preparation. No, you must come on October 1st, ready to play 83, 84 games, period. That's it. So you take care about your food, your coaches, your skills, your strengths, wherever, and they only work in 30 days for 1 month, let's say, team philosophy, or the way the coach want to, let's say, play all league. Okay, you have during the league your form going ups and downs. Okay, and sometimes you're in good shape, sometimes you're not. Okay, that's why all the players has their own, of course, very important thing. Not to forget it. It's about psychology approach. They all have their own. I cannot say psycho coaches, but they're therapists. They really work with them all the time, because, to be honest, they are on. There is big light on all of them. Kobe Bryant one time said, because I like him so much, he's my favorite player ever. Because I watched so many games that he played. He said, I don't want to rest in the middle. I want to rest in the end. So I want to give everything right now. So that means that I'm going to practice like hell. And he really was, his mindset was unique. I think nobody can reach him, period. And he was maybe the closest guy to the MJ, who's GOAT. Let's to be honest, this MJ is like one level, other players are completely different level. And he said also a very good thing. When you want to upgrade your game, you need to learn from the best. And he said during the summer that he's already playing his 14-15 season in NBA, he said, I become slower. I am not quick anymore. I cannot jump anymore. So he actually hired Hakeem Olajuwon to teach him and to work all summer with him, just let's say low post moves, which is amazing. I saw that video. Hakeem was maybe the best 5 position ever, because he was the big man in the mindset and we had with point guard, so that's very, very unique. And that's the way, for example, how the greatest one, Kobe Bryant, who is for me second best player ever after MJ, was approaching every single practice and every single game. We spoke about it in a previous show, how important is those small details that you're going to work every day. And you need to compare yourself, not with other players, with yourself the day before. And every practice is for you something new. And if you put big effort, of course, whatever you believe in, work, God, whatever, it's going to bring it back in good level, right? So if you give 100% of yourself, you're going to reach good levels. Now, to make shorter, difference between EuroLeague and NBA. Now, for me, I like better EuroLeague. Why? Because NBA right now, I think, become marketing. Everything is about tickets, about food, about commercials, about merchandise, about so many different things. It's not only the game. And now there is so many points in the game, right? There is no good defense. There is no, there is no team playing. If you remember how San Antonio played with Greg Popovich, those period time that they won the titles, and those finals with Los Angeles Lakers was amazing. Those finals in Western Conference against Houston Rockets was amazing. Those finals against New Jersey Nets was amazing. Those finals with Philadelphia when Iverson was with Mutombo playing final against Lakers. Come on, you understand what I'm talking about? So different way of basketball, and there wasn't points more than 100, right? Now we can see 146, 150, 130. So everything's about statistic, right? I don't have nothing against that. But for me, it's not the same level. I like more NBA before. And EuroLeague, now it's okay, different, some kind of different rules. For example, in EuroLeague, as a defender, position 4 or 5 or wherever, you can stay in the paint whatever time you need. In NBA, you cannot stay more than 3 seconds, which okay, that gives the space that you can penetrate and dunk, right? But now I think EuroLeague play more using basketball IQ, and let's say those level, they really reach top level. And NBA, it's for me now much more with the physics, right? Athletics. There is no so many, okay, there is some, let's say, motions, there is some actions that they play for a franchise player or for a player, or let's say easy shot or 3-point shot or end of the game, whatever. But still, I think the European basketball is much better. That's my opinion. I cannot say that I'm right 100%, but I can say that maybe they are, let's say, try to now, as you can see now, they want to put NBA Europe. And Real said yes. So everything is about money, right? So that's for me kind of, let's say, a little mark negative, in my opinion. That's it.
Yes, well, I can agree with you. In NBA, in the last 15 years, I'm watching just the final because I can't enjoy so much when I was a young player or a young coach. And we can say this difference is what you said, that there is really merchandising, really marketing NBA. But Europe, we should need to read how we can, for example, our budgets increase, because that is really amazing what kind of financial part. And let's say last time we were not talking about it, how many years you need to play in NBA and you get, for example, a sport pension, for example. So this is really great things for athletes. And what you mentioned, like about the difference between when you are playing defense in the paint with the rule, in NBA is much easier to score. I would love very much that Nikola Jokic, when finishing the career and still in prime, to play 1 or 2 seasons in EuroLeague, because I would love to see, can he make these incredible numbers what he is doing in NBA? Because for sure he would be good, but very hard these numbers what he is doing. Okay, this is on 48 minutes, not on 40. But it's everything different what you mentioned in defense. And I would love to say, for example, that what you said about the staff, that we can say that in NBA coaches are more managers than head coaches. There is a big staff. And I
Right.
like the approach, the NBA, how building the stuff, because they are
Mm-hmm.
not looking the coach, they are looking who will fit his system, their
Bravo.
strategy. So that is very interesting. And
Mm.
in Europe, many clubs first choosing the coach and then
Yes.
trying to see what kind of systems they are making. And we can say in NBA that sometimes, for example, a coach who maybe not had a, I don't know what kind of background, doing a great job because they are
Yes.
scouting also the coach about his personality, about his goals.
Bravo.
He will be happy with our team or not. And these are very interesting things. This in Europe is not going. Now we were talking
Bravo.
about the top of NBA and EuroLeague. Let's go back now. How is going in America and how is going in Europe, or let's say in Serbia now or before, when we are starting to recruit our young players to start to
Yes.
play basketball. And I will little talking about it. Now is the positive selection in Serbia when we are talking about it, or it was before 20 years ago. I will just telling for our viewers that when we were playing basketball in the former Yugoslavia, then the selection was doing on the next way that we had incredible PE teachers, and PE teachers were saying for us, hey, you are talented for football. Tomorrow, in that time, go in this place. The coach's name is this and this, and you need to go for football. My PE teacher, when he saw me, he said for me, Hunor, you are going for basketball. And he was so talented, I to recognize the talent that in my city we had around the city 5, 6 football clubs, and he said,
Mm-hmm.
"You are going in the best club. You are going in that soccer club in the village because you are not so talented, but you need to go there. That maybe you will developing later." This, for example, today in Serbia. This we not have for sure, because when I was a coach in Serbia, I never saw that a kid is coming to us and saying, good morning or good afternoon, good evening. My PE teacher was sending for you on the training. So
Yeah.
before 20, 30 years ago, I would say PE teachers in Serbia were doing a mission and they
Yeah.
not get nothing additional fee that they
Yeah.
send kid to come us. And let's
Yeah.
say for now, our viewers, Mladen, tell for our viewers, when you was a young player in bar, how much was your fee, what you paid in your club, in youth category?
I will. Okay. My story is a little bit different. Okay. There is a very good, let's say, basketball school league in my hometown, but it was 6 primary schools and all the school plays. It was like league. It was amazing. We played in very cheap sneakers, in very cheap jerseys, because we enjoy. Our primary
And everybody
goal.
had the same sneaker, or we had only 2, 3 options for the
Yeah, yeah,
sneakers.
exactly. And now we have, for example, how to say, we enjoy playing. We didn't mind about salary. Who cares? Especially when you're youth. You make
No,
emphasize
no,
very
no,
good
no, no.
remark.
I
That
was
is,
meaning what fee you was paying monthly because it was
Mhm.
free. That who is going,
Yeah,
it is that I
exactly.
wanted to say. So that
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
a positive selection 20, 30 years
Bravo.
ago in Yugoslavia because there is no fee. Everybody can come. I didn't see
Yes,
never B team, C team, only one
yes,
team. Who is talented is
yes,
staying, and who is not
yes.
delighted can't call the president or the coach, the parents. This, in my experience, this I never saw in my life. About this, I wanted to ask you because for you was free also when we
Yeah,
started.
yeah. Very, very, very good point that you said right now. Now, what I want to say is now sometimes I can see that the parents are more enthusiastic than their kids, and they don't make selection. You know what I mean? Everything is about money. Everybody's paying that the fee to be part of that club. And why that is not good? Because now we are going so many on quantity, not quality. What that means, I understand that club must survive in some way, but I think that your approach honest approach must be, hey, I see that your kid, it's kind of very little bit talented. Maybe this is wasting of money, wasting of time. Maybe he's for something else. And of course, you mentioned how great was in Yugoslavia when we had very good PA teachers who work with us in all sports, and we as a nation were very talented in all sports. I play great handball. I play great volleyball. I swim amazingly. I do all the sports, athletics, for soccer, whatever. You know what I mean? So we really were talented. And like you said, the PA teacher had eye to recognize what is good for you. And I was, let's say, 2-3 years, same time practicing soccer and basketball. And of course, because I growing so fast and I become stronger, I choose basketball, but I enjoy it. And we don't
Maybe
care.
you became the
about...
second Nikola Žigić.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Something like that.
He's
I will be. I will be offside all the time. Joke, of course, because I like to score. But that's the Yugoslavia has very good starting point and go step by step. Now you have managers who promise something to the parents because of the agency fee or whatever, that's going to happen. And the parents actually spend the last money to invest, I can say like that, in their kids. You mentioned very good volleyball player before when we spoke privately, and you will also say your opinion about that. He said now it comes times that parents selling their kids to very, how to say, very unfamiliar or ununique basketball people or volleyball people or soccer people who will be their managers. You know what I mean? I don't like that. It's very bad. I like natural selection. For example, when I was 13 years old, I played senior basketball. And I really was, let's say, very, very good. And I have so many experience and I go very fast growing. The problem was the coaches. I cannot say they didn't believe in young player, but when I go in the top level of basketball, they kind of scared to put you in fire. Now I have completely different approach. I start hating basketball because those players, because those coaches, because I I didn't like them, period. Okay, maybe that's my fault, but I'm very honest. They didn't upgrade or do anything in my game. I was very self-unique player. They really enjoyed to reading and educate myself in basketball way from whole world. I watch all the games. I see all the approaches. I know only motion plays from different teams. I have a EuroLink, my big playbook from last 10 years. So I really enjoy that time. And I starting to be a coach because I want that my players enjoying spending time with me. In the same time, I learn them. And of course, sometimes I have feedback from them, how that is going. Because if you're autocrat and you, me, no, you must listen, of course, have an ear to see, to hear, and the eyes to see how they approach the games, practices, mental strengths, physical pressure, stress, and everything. And that's the way you becoming better coach and they becoming better players, because it's a process. Željko Obradović told one very good thing, that is players making us good coaches. We follow them. We just give them tools to be the opponent, because we read that, we saw that, we kind of understand the game, but we are not playing. Me and you are coaches. Sometimes I was so frustrating that I want to come in the game to play as a coach. You know what I mean? So, because, okay, when you make selection of the team, that depends what level of the league you're playing and of course what kind of budget you have, and then you are putting your basketball knowledge in their level, how they can actually accept that. Otherwise, if you give them so much, they will not understand. You will have a big problem. And of course, if you don't know that much, well, again, you will have problem because they know much better than you, which is my problem. Because I was completely assured that I have more basketball knowledge than most of my coaches. They're coaching me, you know what I mean? And I start hating that basketball. And you mentioned before how great was selection. And my, let's say, all around, when I see everything, I think that Serbian basketball is going down, my opinion. Okay.
Yes, and this is what, just to go back, what I was mentioning for you, when you are in this positive selection, when you are not paying a fee, everything is free, the trainings, the travelings, the jersey, only you are buying a sneaker. So this is not a big investment from the family. When people are growing like this, these players, this is what we were talking about, a big player like big famous volleyball player Vladimir Grubic. This was very interesting what he said, that these people have feeling that I need to give back something later for my club. And when is coming national team, I must to come because I am coming from the system from Yugoslavia who was investing me and I need to play for the national team. And that is not a question I'm coming or not. There is a big fee about it, about the insurance, if somebody coming from NBA. But before Divac was coming always and all these players, so they were risking even their position in their clubs. And this is very interesting. Just to say for our viewers, first time I will telling that, for example, when I was a coach 9 years in my home city, my mentor was an old school coach who I mentioned. Us two, we were leading the club and we made really great results because we were picking up a lot of kids and the selection was made on this positive selection because the fee was only €3. And €3, we said, just because of it, like that we are giving for them some kind of responsibility. But €3 is nothing. And they get everything, traveling abroad, jersey, everything they get, because we knew if we are saying you need to pay €40, €50, when parents need to pay the traveling, then there is a problem. Some kids will not coming, and then parents will feeling that I can something ask. And in that 9 years, we had no complaints from the parents because they are paying €3 and they know if they are saying something, we will say the next. If it is not good for you, go into another club. And when they saw that we were collecting so many kids that in the youth categories, in the senior team, we were not needed to pick players. We were maybe one of the only teams in Serbia that when we finished our season, we knew who is our senior team because we produced our players, and if we pick the player from another club, we just pick because it was a great quality, and not because of it that I need the 7th player, the 8th player, the 11th player, and the 12th player. And I must to say for our viewers, that period I was enjoying the most. And now, if I not have a point guard, we are bringing an import player. We not have a post player. We are bringing an import player. But that is not the same job what we had before.
Now, you and your colleague has actually basketball factory producing players from your own basketball school. You know what I mean? And that is the best way. Why? Because very simple, you actually manage and you know all that players are actually coming from your school and you know what you can expect from them, right? Because you see your signature in them. You know what I mean? Your stamp is their way of basketball, and that is always the best thing. Now, we have money, we're gonna import players wherever we need, and that's it. No, long term, it's not good.
Yes, yes. This is just a short term. And now I will talk about one point. We can put this really, I think, on Serbia, on our two biggest teams, because when you have a, let's say, you need a base. That is why I was wanting to talk about this. If you have a big base, there will be some talented young players that maybe you can choose more. And we can
Yeah,
say that before 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, for sure in our country, in Serbia, was much more talented players than now.
yeah,
They are
yeah,
still very talented players, but we can't say that we have the same number because of all of these problems, what we were talking about it.
yeah,
Now,
yeah,
when you have a senior team, for me, you can have two options. You have many money, and then you are trying to buy all the best players, and you are going to win the championship. Or you are thinking about, but it's short term. Or you are thinking long term, and then you have the base, you have the locals, and you are putting these young players in the fire. For me, where is making the biggest mistakes the clubs when they are making senior teams? They want both, and they are in the middle. And then happening for me nothing. And this, for example, what I said, I think this happened in this season with Partizan and with Red
mhm,
Star. They not had the
mhm,
budget to bring really the biggest names. For example, what have Panathinaikos. Even that
yeah,
Panathinaikos is well, regular season not finished the best, but we will see what they
yeah,
will make in the playoffs. But
yeah,
also was not putting the fire, the young players, in the Adriatic League and in the EuroLeague. And because they are in the middle, that is the question. In this period, what is made? Because I think in Serbia, from this season, we had huge expectation. Both
yeah,
teams, we can say they had good rosters. We can say
yeah,
coaches are good. And what happened with Partizan and also Red Star? Red Star was missing only few wins to be in the best six, and then they are going automatically in playoffs. But I
yeah,
think also Red Star fans were not expecting 10th place at the end. And I am sorry that I think what I said now, this will continue in the next season because you mentioned in the first episode that local players scored only 8 points in the derby between Red Star and Partizan. And one of our next episodes, we will talking about local players in Serbia, and I get some infos how many points scored like stats, how many points scored players before Red Star and Partizan, and how many
yeah,
points scored now. I think
yeah,
this is very bad way, and also for a fan, fans like stability, and stability you can
yeah,
have with the local players because the local players staying maybe 3, 4, 5 years and will be the brand like
yeah,
before Novica Veličković is Partizan, Branko Lazic
yeah,
is Red Star, but a foreign
yeah.
player coming for one season, maximum 2, 3 seasons, and then they are going,
He doesn't
and
care. He
and the
doesn't care.
club not have identity. And this, I think, very bad for strategy, for long term, for every club. When I am working in one club and staying 2 seasons, fans are coming to me and they are always telling for me, coach, try to keep this and this player. Maybe not because he was so good player, but maybe the fans loved his personality, his habit,
Yeah,
how he was
yeah,
fighting. Because I was sometimes in clubs that almost every season coming a new coach and coming 10 new players. And then
yeah.
fans basically with these people have only 10 months period.
Exactly, exactly, exactly. Okay, now you have a great point. Short term, we didn't get anything from these big budgets from Red Star and Partizan, right? There is no anything.
Yes, it is
And
clear.
I was following all the games. Usually, I think all the games Red Star and Partizan, maybe 90%. And I will be very honest, I'm completely disappointed. The government or whoever put so much money. I think the budget of the Red Star and Partizan were sixth in EuroLeague. which is 30 million plus.
I
30
think
million
also.
plus. And you don't have your practice facility. You don't have your own court. You don't have your very good coach for youth. You are giving so ridiculous coaches to be coach of the youth. I will just put example. Now, the Partizan lose game in youth from Mega.
Yes, I saw 60
40,
points or 40.
45 points. Okay, first,
There is the
second of
future.
all, yeah. How is good for everybody, Serbia, Montenegro, whoever, if for youth competition playing foreigners? You understand? Who give a green light for that? That is pure cancer for basketball Association of Serbia, Montenegro, Yugoslavia. If you give youth foreign players to play, Real Beograd, my good friend Milan Gurovic, I think also for his club is playing foreigners. You understand what I'm talking about?
Yes.
That in long term, that is pure cancer. Now, get back to this point. How come that there is no one single minute in the main game of the season for Ognjen Dobric? You're gonna tell me that
Yes.
Butler or Novora love this jersey, love this town, love this country more than Ognjen Dobric? Come on.
Yes.
Let's be honest, period. How come that 3 main games you don't put in top 12 players Davidovac? You understand? He's not athletic, but he play with his mind. But he play with his mind. He understand the game. You need to have those kind of players in the lineup, in the team. For example, if you remember when Red Star last year, very important game, beat Barcelona in Blaugrana in Spain. One of the main guys was Davidovac. You understand? So sometimes you need to see from the history what is best for the future. You understand what I mean? So now, for me, in the last derby against Partizan and Red Star, 6 points, all the domestic players. Come on, brother. That's ridiculous. That's a shame. Are we calling ourselves basketball country, land of basketball? Come on, what kind of land of basketball we are? Ridiculous. When in this land you have already how the other. I will give you just one example. You probably hear about a French basketball school called INSEP. They are investing in young players. They bring the best coaches, and they just don't care 5 years in any team success. They care about making good players. And now, from that school, all the French NBA players start and become what they are right now. I will tell you from my age, Boris Diaw, Tony Parker, Pietrus brothers, now Rudy Gobert, Ivan Fournier, Ronnie Turiaf, Nicolas Batum, Lovren, all those players come from basketball INSEP. And let's say those players were much worse than our in that age. For example, if you remember Red Star and FNP Železnik, everything they make from youth. Now, Djekić, Musli, Erceg, Stojanović, what's his name? Who fight with Naneli? Lazarević, Branko Lazić, Dimić. So where are they now? They playing in Moldavia, they playing in Romania. I mean, I'm not anything against those countries, but they play, let's say, very low league. And all these players from French playing NBA and making 100 millions. You know what I mean? So we want to be the best in juniors, in cadets, in everything. What that means that in that very important, when they become from 16 till 20, those talented kids lost themselves because they don't have good coaches, good mentors. They don't have opportunity to play and practice with the good players. They don't have a role model. They don't have nothing, and they are losing big time. That's why, for example, that's why now the basketball of Serbia, Montenegro, or all, let's say, countries around us are going down because we give so many rights to the import players, especially Americans. Why? You want to tell me that, for example, now that how to measure? Okay, now let's say one player. You want to tell me that Sterling Brown is that much better than Ognjen Dobrić?
It is not.
You understand
Even
what I'm
when
talking
he
about?
arrived to Partizan, I saw that he's just shooting.
You understand what I'm talking about? You want to tell me that this guy Kenan, who had injury from that he's that much better player than Ognjen Dobrić? You gonna tell me that he's gonna bring everything on the table like Ognjen Dobrić? No. Period. You wanna tell me that Ojeleye, who didn't have that much chance to play, is that much better than Davidovac? Come on. He's that much better than Kalinic? Okay, Kalinic played terrible last four games, 5, but maybe there is something behind it. Never mind. We don't go in that politics, that bullshit. But I'm telling you, is that much better than they? Come on. You want to tell me that Novora gonna play that good defense like Dobrić? You understand?
Yes.
Come on. Let's be honest. You remember how, for example, one young player, Miljanovic, who playing ABA League, play great defense and great offense, much better than McIntyre. Come on. You giving McIntyre that much money, you give it so many money, you wasting that much money for nothing. For nothing. Where are they? I'm just asking a simple question. Where are the best young players from Serbia? And why, if they don't have time to play in EuroLeague, why you don't give them chance to play ABA League? Because in ABA League is also like EuroLeague. There is no limit of the foreigner players. Why?
Yes.
Because you want to destroy domestic basketball. If it's that like that, me, for example, as sport director, I will tell to my coach, okay, now in ABA League must play 70% domestic players, period. If I want to protect my players, right?
Yes,
and now in first division of Serbia, we are playing. My son is playing for Metalac Valjevo, and also in Valjevo you have 3 foreigner players, and they shooting 40 basketballs every game.
Yes.
And how is that very good? Or anybody want to tell me that is good for basketball? For our basketball? What are you talking about? I played the basketball. I was the main guy. Come on, we are losing so much time. We lost so many good players. We cannot bring them back. Now you're gonna see national team how the big problems will be. That's it. That's linear. We are going down. Period.
Yes. I was waiting these things to say because I know how you are thinking, and now I was waiting for this point also because we were talking about these factors. What kind of problems are there? And now let's talk about it like what is now and what is before. That yes, is there also less number of talented players and maybe they are moving to abroad because they not get a chance. And now let's make a parallel because I am telling for you that, for example, when I was a youth coach, my youth coach was also the head coach of the senior men team in that city. And I am very happy that an experienced, an educated coach was working with me and not somebody who has maybe 2 years experience, maybe he's only 22 years old, or maybe he is 40 years old, but he played until 38, and now he's going to the coaching shoes, and he not know in this age group what to do. Because my question later would be that for you, you would have that career like what you had if maybe not a very experienced coaches would work with you during your career. because I am telling for you how this solving other countries. I will not say the country name. I was impressed. In my contract was the next, that 3 times in a week I will working with the most talented players in that region in the morning. And I am asking my club how I will working with those players from other clubs in the morning if they are going in the secondary school. And they are in the West, they are not saying for all your details, they are saying they will be there. And I am looking, okay, and I will working with them 2 hours. 2 hours, how they will come from the school. And I am coming and I see that I am working because then I was the women head coach in that city, and the head coach of the men team played Eurocup. And I see he is also there. And I know him and I'm saying, hey, what we are doing here. And he's saying, you will see. And coming the players, coming the best players from that region who are
Yeah,
youth national team players. And with the
yeah,
women players, I am working. And with the men
yeah,
players, the head coach of the Eurocup team. And I am asking the players when I finish the first training, how is possible that you will coming weekly 3 times with me and you are not in the school in the morning in these 2 hours, plus traveling? And they are saying, coach, here we can choose. If we are an elite athlete, we not have PE. Instead of PE, we are going with you and with the coach
whoa,
from the Eurocup team. This is amazing idea that is possible to
yeah,
solve. And just to say for
yeah,
you, this country is not a basketball country. I was
yeah,
impressed. And what kind of motivation is for these players that they are working with the head coaches,
yeah,
that going for the senior game to watch, and they are
yeah,
asking us, how is this player, how is that player? That is crazy. And that kind of systems I saw in many countries. And that
yeah,
kind of similar systems, if can do a country which is not a basketball country, this in
yeah,
Serbia, we has to learn, we has to see how with the rules, how the government can make some
yeah,
rules. Because for
yeah,
me, this was really an amazing experience. So that is what I
bravo.
would love to ask you, what you think about these things, because you mentioned that often in the youth categories, not working, let's say, I would say, very educated coaches or very experienced coaches, because I'm always saying for my players that I not had a long player career, but during my player career, I never had a young coach. And not just to say a
Yeah,
young coach, not never had a coach who was not educated, who was not experienced. And I say
yeah,
for them, I never saw with my life, in my life, a bad training. And maybe
yeah,
this is helping for me to be a good coach, because we coaches, we can say openly, when we are starting our coaching career, we are watching what our coaches did with us. So something we
yeah,
will keep.
yeah.
What is good, what is bad, we are doing out. And that I'm saying for you, what you think, what kind of chance you would have if now you would play in Serbia, that you not get chance like in FMP you get, you are not playing Adriatic League, and maybe in the youth category is no investment, maybe not working with you big names who are
Yeah.
experienced. So what you think, what kind of chance makes some kind of compare this period when you was and maybe if you would play now?
Okay, first of all, that idea is amazing. I think that idea solves so many problems. Let's say with the school, with everything. Even though that you said that country is not basketball country, right?
Yes,
Not famous basketball country,
it's a
but
handball
they
country.
still. Yeah, 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 okay, okay. I know the country what is, but I'm telling you, they find the way to approach and give the chance from their elite, talented basketball players. Period.
Yes,
And they don't have mind anything to learn from you. Maybe they're gonna see something they didn't see before. Maybe they're gonna just say, "Oh yeah, I'm doing the same way, so I'm in good direction. I'm doing very good job." Our main problem is that we don't have very good basketball coaches for young players. Individual, that you are making big progress during the summer break. Team basketball coaches who really has a very good vision in which way they want to go with different kind of players and with the team. You don't have goal. Here only goal is hit, make money and survive. Stay as long as you match. Doesn't matter how big consequences that gonna have. So for me now, like I said before, when you give one famous basketball manager who has his own club, his own hierarchy, okay, on the level of making decision to be big name. And he actually, you need to ask him so many things. Let's say clearly, now players are much more afraid of the agents and managers than before. Before was opposite. They respect so much players, and the managers and agents actually were afraid of them, and they approach in professional way. Now it's everything is about blackmailing. So, for example, if I find you a job as a coach, you need to take my 6 players. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So that is condition very bad from all around. Doesn't matter where you're coaching. You make great example how those government, town, club working together to achieve goal, which is great for all of them. Why? Because let's say that player becomes something. He come from that country. He come from that town. He come from that club. He come from that coach. And what is better reference than that? You understand what I'm talking about? Now they're investing their time and money, but they don't want to make huge money over the night, like in our country they're doing the most of the players, right? Like I told you, the biggest problem is you cannot give the foreigner players to play domestic league, first division, and youth, juniors, pioneers, cadets, and everything. You know what I mean? So you let them doing that, and now, of course, what is when you draw the line? Who is winning that? Who actually make everything? Agents and those players who come here, who are losers, young talented players, especially domestic ones. And and now we are covering, and we try to put that under the table or under the carpet. Okay, but we want that. What did you want? How many points making domestic players in our Red Star Partizan big game? Period. End of the story. Now there are rumors that the Red Star want to bring Spanulis for a coach, and the coach of Dubai will be Sasha Obradovic. Hey, now just one to compare something. Who actually?
Not happening. So Obradovic will stay, but okay, but it's bad for the idea.
You know what I mean. So somebody put those kind of things. Okay, why? In some way, I respect Partizan because they really bring a big name as a coach and big name as a sports director. But in that, let's say, process, they've been greedy. They want money. Of course, you bring sponsors, you bring public, you bring everything, but you want everything. Come on, you want money. That was ridiculous amount of money those two guys received. I'm telling you. And now let's also draw the line. What did better done Obradovic Sasha than Sferopoulos? Tell me. It was same. Bigger budget was now this year, and better team than the year before.
Yes, and the same place they finished. Then
you understand what I'm talking about? I respect Giannis very much. Of course, that was different story. They want to see his back because there are some other. Okay, we're not going to talk about anything except basketball, but we can say Brand Star didn't become better. Didn't go to Final Four. Didn't go Final Eight. The shape was terrible in the main period of the season, right? You didn't make any player better, period. And of course, the sponsors, supporters, and some of the players are not happy. So what did you achieve? Nothing. Same like Partizan. In that, let's say, that big train, let's say every second one trailer is out. Who is that? Young players. So overall, we are in that line. We are losing so many time. We lost so many money. We're wasting another year, right? And now the young players are not young anymore, right? And everybody wants a result. I will also give one comparison. One of the very good basketball coach, even though that I don't respect basketball coaches who didn't play the game, but he was really good. One of the best maybe coaches who didn't play, Vujošević. He, with a very small budget, make great result and make players with only 1, 2, maximum 3 foreigners. And he said like this: 1 foreigner player, very good. 2 foreign player, kind of little problems. 3 foreign players, you have now. You have Clay now. It's a big problem. You understand? Period. That's it.
Yes. Well, this about it. So let's say these were little other times also, but it was really amazing, and we can say that all these foreigners who were choosing in that time at Vujošević, they were dominant. So they were almost no mistake. I just this Bo McKelley, Frederick House, Cummings, I don't know, and they are coming. And there is no time. They are immediately something incredible performance they are making. For me, for example, Bo McKelley, I was enjoying so much. And we can say for our viewers, when Bo McKelley was playing for the national team of Macedonia, then Macedonia became 4th on the Eurobasket. And of course, because Bo McKelley had a crazy season in Partizan, and that performance was making on the Eurobasket. Okay, they had Pero Antic, Gečevski, they had some experience with national team, but Bo McKelley was really incredible.
Was injured.
Yes, injured. And but that story was very interesting when Željko Obradović on one coaching seminar said when he was coaching Bo McKelley in Fenerbahce, and before the start, he's saying like that, I had a Macedonian superstar, and half of the viewers are laughing and saying, do you know what is writing in Bo McKelley's passport? I'm telling for you, born in Skopje. So some countries can fix nationality passports on a different way, and I was surprised that this can happen in that 2010, 2000, or I don't know which year was in that time that he born in Skopje. But if he born in Skopje, then he born in Skopje. Exactly. Now, one thing I wanted to talk about it more. So let's say, for example, when we are talking about the United States, how is going the system for there from the beginning? So there are, for example, in Europe, that is why in Europe we should need to invest more in youth category and in youth coaches, because in Europe, with the young players are working clubs and basketball coaches. Meanwhile, in the American United States, there is a system for high schools, and we can say that high schools are a different organization than a club organization. Some players will have really maybe good basketball coach in the high school, but some players will have maybe a PE teacher who is just trying to educate himself to be a basketball coach, maybe even not played basketball coach before. Because just to tell for you, for example, often I have rookie import players, and when I started this, that I have rookies in my team from America, first years, I was a little surprised with few things. Now I am not. For example, sometimes for a rookie player, I am teaching how to stop from two contacts. Because maybe he is running out with full speed, making a jump stop, falling backward, and shooting a
Yeah.
three-pointer. And didn't realizing that with a two contact stop, you can shoot, you have better balance, and you can play one-on-one. And that kind of big mistake in the basketball education at the age 8, 9, 10, 11, that is
Yeah.
it's incredible. So this is interesting that yes, we get physicality in America. But there is also one thing what is good for me in the American youth basketball, what we not have in Europe so much. I am feeling in these players when they are coming to me. Maybe, and even some players need time to use for it to play in a system. But there is one interesting thing. They are enjoying to play basketball and they are playing free. And sometimes I get that kind of local players who are stressed, who are frustrated, who I'm telling, hey, enjoy how you will finishing one on one. Hey, now
Mhm.
let's learn this fake, this finish. And they are stressed what you said. We are playing under 12. We want to be champion of the country. We are playing under 14. We want to be champion of the country. And I'm not feeling on them that they are looking about player development. They are looking with me what we will achieving as a team. But this is just a
Yeah.
short period. Nobody will pick you
Bravo.
as a player because you was second in the
Tako je.
country. And a lot of bigger coaches from Yugoslavian basketball were talking about
Mhm.
us for on coaching seminars. Then those Yugoslavian superstars who became later the superstars in the senior men national team, often they were not good players in the youth category in the national team because
Yeah.
they were needed time. And really, sometimes I am watching when I'm interested about one player. Let's see what he did, what I can find, what he did in the age under 14, under 16, under 18. And sometimes I see even was not in the national team. So this player development is very important. I not like in the system in the high school system in America that not producing lot of educated players in Europe, producing more educated players, but have this freedom. And I know that with these players, I must look different because there is the approach more friendly than in Europe or
Yeah.
especially in East Europe, but there is always pro
Yeah.
and contra. And I think maybe the best way should need to be what is in the United States, what is in Europe, and to find somewhere in the middle to be balanced.
A very good point of view. I will tell you this: why I love, let's say, American way of approaching things, because in the beginning they give you your own creativity to become great player. They in the beginning want to see you what you know. They are hoopers. They like to hoop basketball. Period. They enjoy playing. They
I
are
have
crazy
many
about it.
hoopers in America,
Yeah, I'm telling you. So
and they are
why I'm
saying
telling you this?
sometimes, "Coach, we are hooping."
Yeah, exactly. They like that the most, and in that way of approach, you are ready to learn more from somebody who knows the game and who is good authority. You know what I mean? You need to give the player confident. When you give him confidence, he is ready to accept everything. And how you doing that? You are repeating the way of working every single practice on, let's say, some basketball skills. I know, and I saw the game 3 hours before the game. Kobe Bryant come in the gym and making only one basketball drill: pump fake, one strong dribble on right side, like you said, two contact, jump shot. And Kevin and Dwayne Wade said, "Hey, I was watching. He was doing only that before, like pregame workout." I said, "What is he doing?" And he scored 40 points. From that 40 points, he scored 25 from that move. You know what I'm telling you now? Like you said, okay. Now, in USA and American way of thinking, they have great conditions, safe conditions. To when I was in playing summer league, I received the one card. It's a key from my room in hotel. But with that key, I'm opening the weightlifting gym, the basketball court, everything, and I can do whatever I want. So I am investing my time in myself. If I want to see some good coach and I recognize him that he can maybe help me, I call him and I pay him to work with me. That's the way in USA works. When we talking about high schools, their primary goal is to be educated as a person. So they don't forgetting the school, but at the same time, they find the time to working in their basketball skills, right? So now, in that way of selection, when they choose which from high school to go to college, because their college basketball is amazing. If I tell you that sometimes 50,000 supporters come to watching March Madness, I told you everything, right? I don't need to repeat it. So can you imagine how many good coaches and how much time they spend thinking about approaching the players, player development, now team building, together in everything, and you see it's process that everybody is involved and everybody actually received the chance to prove what they can do, especially those players. Now college is paying big money. I don't know, do you know, but maybe you hear it or not, but Montero actually going now in college, and he gonna receive $4 million he gonna receive. And Montero is the best scorer and best player in Valencia, who lost last night. Amazing game. They lost by 1 point against Panathinaikos in the quarterfinal of EuroLeague. But the president, we should learn from president of Valencia, who is maybe, I think, third or fourth, the richest guy in Spain, who don't pay big money for the players. He paying big coaches to work with young, and they bring all the young players from the Spain, from the South Africa, from all around the world, and they give them a chance to work. And now, as you can see, the average age average of Valencia, I think they are the younger team in EuroLeague, and they play amazing. They finish first or second. You know what I'm talking about? Second team that we also learn is famous basketball country, Lithuania. Žalgiris has maybe they lost last night 15 points from Fenerbahce, but Fenerbahce budget is 40 million, and the budget for Žalgiris is 10 million. And the most expensive guy in Žalgiris is Francisco, I think, with 700,000 euros. You understand what I'm talking about?
Yes.
And now I give you also good comparison. Virtus Bologna, that I was member of them, huge budget. What position? Terrible. Emporio Armani, Olimpia, Milano, also amazing budget. What finish? You understand what I'm talking about? And now, Žalgiris, look the roster of Žalgiris. Maybe 3, maybe maximum 4 foreigners. Yes. You look Valencia. I think the most player is not more than 500,000 euros. And Partizan is paying Jabari Parker 2.5 million. You understand? Who is crazy here? You understand what I'm talking about?
Sometimes 2 points.
Me and you can play better than him in this age, right? Right now, to take the jersey. I'm telling you. So that is so terrible way of thinking. Okay, let's draw the line now between Europe and USA. USA, they give you conditions, they give you time, they don't kill your creativity, they give you chance. It's everything about you. In that process, you're gonna find from So many good coaches in the sea. You're gonna find one or two great one. They're gonna rebuild and put a stamp on your career and upgrade your form and your shape.
Yes.
In Europe, they're based on hit, run, make a good result, pay good and everything. What? It's only for fun. Where are we now? Well, what we have from EuroLeague? Look, I think that the Red Star and Partizan, each of them make earning 600,000 euros. I think Red Star and 400 euros Partizan. But they invest 30 million. You understand? Can you imagine how big, how stupid those things are? Whoever is bringing the money, I don't care about it. But if you have this much money, then use that money to have a long-term upgrading domestic players and future from basketball. Now, where is the future of basketball? Okay, I'll give you a great example. I'm so disappointed in Partizan. So disappointed. You have, after a long time, you have big guy. He's 7'1", that is 215. He can run, he can jump, he make good blocks, he can shoot everything. Baša Koprivica. And you destroy that talent. You destroy that talent. You destroy. Am I right? Am I right? Am I right? And second, you have Vukcevic. He's also 7'1". He plays great.
Was not needed to be in Partizan. Very bad step he made for his career, but he's incredible player. Incredible ability.
I told you. And whose fault is that? You telling me that he didn't deserve 20 minutes to play? Come on. You have a position 4 him, a position 5 Koprivica. Come on. You have the two guys 215 in the paint. Come on. Who gonna make lab? But you need to be patient and you need to give them time. How are you gonna give them time? Playing 35 minutes in ABA League, playing 30 minutes in domestic league, and then they're gonna be the main guys in EuroLeague, right? Yeah. I'm telling you, if those two players Vujošević has, they will be dominant the next 10 years in the EuroLeague. I guarantee you that.
They would become animals.
Period. We are saying Kevin Panther is amazing, but Kevin Panther make a lawsuit against Partizan, and they need to pay him now 300,000 euros. You know that. Yes, and he has Serbian passport. Come on, don't talk about it. That's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Yes. Just to close this, what we were talking, to make a conclusion, because you was touching also college basketball, that we should need in every country in Europe to invest in our young players, in youth coaches, to make it very serious, because college basketball now picking slowly, how you mentioned, slowly superstars from EuroLeague, not just talented players. And if we are watching the last 10, 15 years, we can see that Europe giving the best quality players to NBA. If we are watching Jokic, if we are watching Doncic, just to say maybe the two biggest names. And the question is that what is coming from the United States back to the EuroLeague? Because this is not the same quality, and far away not the same quality, and slowly becoming less and less that kind of super talents from Europe.
Yeah.
And I'm a little skeptical also with NBA Europe, because with this will coming money for sure in Europe, but I think we'll just encourage, it will making easier that more European real talents will going in the system of college or NBA. And my question would be for our viewers, for example, that even we can't enjoy these players to come back, because I can't say for you big European players who came back to the EuroLeague and played, for example, in their prime, let's say 3, 4, 5 years. I just mentioned that I would love to see maybe Nikola Jokic wants to play EuroLeague when we were talking before the episode, because I would love to see is he possible to make close that kind of numbers, incredible numbers, what he's doing in the NBA. This is a long-term period. This is not coming fast, but this should need to be the way. And I am not saying that the Yugoslavian system was something incredible, but there they had patience for the players.
Yeah.
They were very, very good coaches also. And what I mentioned for you, maybe we will talking about this about next episodes later, that in the former Yugoslavia, the government was giving very big wage who will be the under 18 coach, because the
Yeah,
under 18 is the last step to become a senior team head coach. And maybe it was possible that the under 18 coach had bigger wage than the senior team head coach in that club, because they were realizing
yeah,
how is important that period for the players. And I can just say that then the Yugoslavian basketball was not just Serbia and Croatia. There was Rabotnički
yeah.
from Macedonia. There was Bosna
Oh,
from Bosnia. So
yeah,
we can say that in that time, the Yugoslavian first league was the best league in Europe, and was stronger than the former EuroLeague, the European
yeah.
Champions Cup,
It was
because
amazing.
then
It was amazing.
then were playing only the champions of the countries, and I
Hmm.
think maybe only Cibona was doing that. That in 1 year they were the champion of the champions of European Cup, like the former EuroLeague, and champions
Hmm.
of the Yugoslavian
Yeah,
Championship. I
yeah,
was reading
yeah.
somewhere, because it was very hard, because it was the Yugoslavian league was harder competition than the former EuroLeague, for example. And it was really,
Rabotnički,
yes,
Olimpija Ljubljana,
yes,
Split, Jugoplastika
yes,
84,
yes,
Cibona Zagreb, Red Star, Partizan, so Bosnia. You gonna beat somebody? Who? You understand? It
yes,
was
yes,
amazing. And
yes.
everywhere you played, so many supporters, but truly one. No aggression, no aggression. Just
And,
support your
and
team.
how many
Period.
import players? Zero.
Zero.
So it were different times, but everything is possible. We were talking now a lot of things, lot of factors. Maybe some of the viewers are not sharing our thinking, and they not must, because basketball have always different angles and different thinking,
Yes.
but always interesting to listen some kind of experiences and some kind of arguments. And now let's
Yeah.
go on our second part. Now we are coming. First, I will ask from you to say who is your starting five from NBA, who you think that they were the best players. We will saying immediately that we were trying to say those players who we saw in the television when we were players or when we were coaches. But of course, there are lot of good players who were playing in NBA before, but they were playing in that time. Then you and me, we were not in basketball. So
Yeah.
coming the drum, and I am asking from you first the point guard.
Okay. Like you said, the best starting five for me, the players that we saw during our childhood and during our, let's say, playing time as a young kids, I would say point guard Magic Johnson. Okay, he's a unique point guard with a huge size. I think he's 6'9" tall, 205 centimeters. His dribbling ability was amazing. His passing skills, everything. He was the right hand of the coach. Period. Position two, the GOAT for me, the great of all time, MJ, Michael Jordan. I think that there is no words to describe that player. He was really like Magic said when one time he come to him and said, "Okay, now you must be aware there is a new sheriff in the town, and his name is Michael Jordan." So he is for me prime, the best player ever. And position two, position three, Larry Bird. The trash talker and amazing small forward player who is, I think, 6'9", 6'10" almost. He can play position two, position three. He was amazing player. A long time he dominated the league with Magic. I think the all 80s till 90s he was the main guy, and he actually on his shoulder has a franchise like Boston Celtics, who is maybe the biggest one with Los Angeles Lakers, where Magic was. So I think that's enough. Position four, Tim Duncan. We know the way of his game. We saw how he actually treat himself and how he actually respect everybody, and he's one of the most respected player ever. many players told me about him that. And a very interesting anecdote also for him when Greg Popovich was in Belgrade in the one clinic. One of the coaches, young one, asked him, "Okay, what is your actually philosophy? How you win the championship?" And he said 2 words. And this guy said 2 words. Yeah, first word Tim, second word is Duncan. So everything was around him. So he knows the way. Why is he so big? Because he understands that his basketball as a team sport depends for everybody. So he shared the ball and everybody likes him. And you remember that 7, 8 years how San Antonio plays with Tony Parker, with Manu Ginobili, with David Robinson, with Tim Duncan, with Bruce Bowen, with so good players we cannot imagine. And position 5, I must say, the dream, that's Hakeem Olajuwon. I think he's the most skilled and the best position 5, like big guy ever played the game that I saw. I cannot say the other one because I didn't saw them. Kareem was great. Everybody said Chamberlain, Moses Malone, but this guy was amazing. We didn't see how Bill Russell play, me and you. We didn't see how Dr. J play. But these 5 players for me are top. Magic, Jordan, Bird, Duncan, and Hakeem Olajuwon. That's it.
So I can say for that you was stealing some of the players, of course, but I'm always trying to make always a second starting 5. But these players also were incredible. But we can say that all these players who you mentioned for us, they are coming from one era. So Jordan coming from Chicago Bulls era, Duncan from San Antonio when they were dominating, or Magic Johnson from the Lakers, and maybe Magic Johnson in our region in the Balkan. That is why we like him so much, because of Mladen Divac, because everybody was watching when Mladen Divac was coming to the Los Angeles Lakers. And we can say for our viewers that you and me, we were talking about it, that we are not watching so much NBA like before. I was never talking about this with you, but I think you was also watching many games in NBA. And we can say for our viewers, starting 3, 4 in the morning, we are not sleeping, and we are going on to school, that we are totally tired. I will telling for you which era I was watching most, the Sacramento Kings, because of Stojakovic and Divac. And then I was playing in Hungary, and with those kids who I went in the school, they were surprised that I am so much tired sometimes, and I'm trying to explain for them that I'm watching Divac and Stojakovic. And they are watching me like, are you crazy? Are you crazy that you are sleeping only a few hours? But in the former Yugoslavia, all of us get some kind of basketball virus, what was very important, I think, to help for our player career, and also coaching career. Let's see now my starting 5, coming the drum, and we are going. So for me, the point guard is Steph Curry. I know that many people from Serbia would not put, especially on the Olympic Games final. We were very close to beat this big team, and we played good 37 minutes in Paris. Last 3 minutes we were not able. But what first half was doing Steph Curry, if he would not shoot that 3-pointers in the first half, then Serbia would make a very big surprise on the Olympic Games. I am really enjoying, he's one of the best shooter on the point guard position. And he is showing for us coaches also that not so important always the shooting technique. I mean on this, that we need to push all of our players for the proper shooting technique. But you were saying one thing in America, letting you what you know. So if the shooting technique after 16, 17, 18, not the properly, but is very efficient, you need to let for the player. And I was enjoying 10 years, it was 10 or 15 years ago, then when was Trajkovic, the shooting coach of the Golden State Warriors, and he was explaining on the coaching clinic that Chris Mullin, who was never a good shooter before, how was able them to increase their shoot, because they realized that their hips are not in the same line, and they were
Yeah.
needed that the shooting leg must to be not few centimeters forward,
Yeah.
half
Yeah.
meter, the hips to
Yeah.
be in one line. And then he opened my eyes that we have different body structure and we can't
Yeah.
expect from everybody to shoot totally properly. If you are
Yes.
looking the release for Steph Curry, it is very fast, but not
Yeah.
have the properly shoot how we should
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's incredible.
Yeah.
Position two, I was putting your one of your favorite player, Kobe Bryant, who is the GOAT. So what you mentioned, you were saying for me that Kobe Bryant was what how you said was the closest to Michael Jordan. There are a lot of good players in NBA, but I can really agree about it. So he was really an incredible shooter. In many countries where I was working, the players didn't see how playing Michael Jordan, and their favorite player is Kobe Bryant when he was live because that they saw and everybody enjoyed him. And when I was talking to them that Michael Jordan also played defense, that is why he
Yeah.
was very incredible player. That not just offensively, even they said for me that we think that Kobe Bryant was better because they not saw how was playing Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
And now I'm
Exactly.
going for the small forward position three, a player who I think Michael Jordan would be not Michael Jordan. And this player, I think, because of this, was underrated. I am putting
Yeah.
Scottie Pippen because Scottie Pippen, what kind of job did in Chicago Bulls? That was
Amazing.
incredible, amazing, and I was impressed that I think he knew if he would play in another club, he would be a bigger superstar because here was everything Michael Jordan and going through on Michael Jordan. And also I can mention that your idol, Tony Kukoc, also was very important in this game. That Michael Jordan would be not Michael Jordan if he would not have Scottie Pippen, Tony Kukoc, and let's say Dennis Rodman or Steve Kerr, for example. And for me,
Yes.
Scottie Pippen,
Yes.
his mentality that he never had for me like kind of superstar attitude.
Yeah.
It was amazing, but amazing what he did on the court. That is why I put. And now I am putting
Yeah.
on position four one player about what we were talking, not everything, the championship. And I was impressed that during his whole career, how much wanted to win the NBA championship, and he didn't achieve. So he is Karl Malone. And I was so sorry that with the Utah Jazz, he didn't win
Yeah.
no one final, at least one final he was deserving. And he was so loyal to Utah Jazz that almost he played whole career Utah Jazz. And when he realized that he's becoming older and older, then he decided to change a club that maybe he can win an NBA championship title. He was so much hungry for that, but he didn't manage it. But we can say, for
Yeah.
example, some players like from our country, am I right, Darko Milicic, and has an
Yeah.
NBA
Yeah.
title with the Detroit Pistons. But we can't
Yes.
compare his performance with Karl Malone,
No.
for example.
No.
And position five, I am putting, this is because we are coming from Serbia, I am putting Nikola Jokic because what he is doing, that is really amazing. And yesterday I went in Google and I was writing like, tell me who are the best centers ever in NBA. And of course, Nikola Jokic's name is already there with Karim Abdul-Jabbar, with Will Chamberlain, who you mentioned. And that is for me, make me so proud that from a small country it's possible
Yeah.
to come. And also he is coming from Sombor. So Sombor is from me 50 kilometers
More.
from my hometown. So he is
Yeah.
coming from a community that we can say it was not a huge, famous basketball
Yeah.
community or not a big basketball factory. Because I am
Yes.
waiting very much when I will talking with you about Yugoslavian basketball in one episode, because that we know. If you need a good shooter, that is coming from Čačak. If you need a good big player, that is coming from the mountains. They are coming
Yes.
from
Exactly.
Herzegovina, and it was really incredible that you know where you need to find that kind of type players. And Nikola Jokic, I
Exactly.
am very much respecting his attitude, his mentality.
Yeah.
You can see on him,
Yeah.
like he is not interested about nothing. But this is great mentality that he is not under stress. So when he will take the last shot, he is not thinking about it. What is happening if I am not making, or what is happening what I am making? What we said before, he is enjoying the game. So he is playing
Exactly.
streetball, he is playing hooping, and that they are letting him. And that is why he is incredible. Olympic Games, I was enjoyed defending him Embiid, defending him, I don't know. But if he gets
I,
the ball on the low post, that is or basket or kick out for an open shot. For the basketball IQ, and like he's playing Serbian basket on the outdoor court 3-on-3 when we were kids, it is really, and that is why I was putting for position
yeah,
5. And
he
I'm
is pure
sorry that
basketball. He's pure
yes,
basketball.
yes, yes. And I'm sorry that maybe he will never achieve no more MVP awards because he received so much already. But his numbers, we can say, I was reading somewhere, is better than Michael Jordan's best number in his prime. So there are also little about interests who is becoming MVP. But this is really, really incredible what this guy is doing, and I hope that he can few more years play like this. And I hope that he will not cancel our national team because we can say what you mentioned, land of basketball. But we saw on big competition, on Olympic Games and in World Cup, if Nikola
Yeah.
Jokic would not play with us, that is totally a different team. So what kind of players we have, we need to take care about them. We need to give for them chance to become good players because at the moment we
Yeah.
not have so much like we had in the former Yugoslavia. I think I
Yes.
was little talking more about the starting 5 when I was needed. Now we are going on the educational part. It will be individual development on position 5. We prepared for you some nice video presentation with lot of drills. First, Mladen, I would ask from you little to speak about your experience as a player, as a coach, what we should need to take care about it on players, on player development on position 5. Before you are starting, I'm just saying little stories about abroad. When I'm starting to work, they are saying for me, you are coming from Serbia. And I'm saying, yes, I'm coming from Serbia. Every Serbian coach playing on the post players. And I am saying for them, I am not playing for the post player, but I have an inside game. Many teams in abroad I see, they not have inside game, and they are
Yeah.
saying for me, because we not have a post player. And sometimes I'm telling for them, do you know that maybe you have the exactly number or even more taller players like what we have in Serbia. But what you see Nikola Jokic, for example, and other big players, we are starting their individual development on the team training, beside on the individual training. And many times I was working in clubs that I saw that there is no drills for the point guard, for the big player, but these two positions are the most important in basketball, and there is no improvisation. So let's try for our viewers little to talk about the individual development on position 5, to say the arguments, little to show how is important, because nobody is coming to be a good post player if if his coach is not working with him individually.
Okay, very simple. Now we must emphasize one very important thing, and that is that there is no more like big guys. What that mean? That mean that they are not, let's say, so strong, and they make a big difference in the game. Like Shaquille O'Neal said that very good. That in his now, let's say, if he is playing right now, absolutely nobody couldn't even stop him. Maybe before when he played, maybe he has a little trouble with Hakeem Olajuwon, David Robinson, and Patrick Ewing.
Yes.
Other nobody. Now in this era with Jokic, with Nurkic, with Rudy Gobert, with Anthony Davis, with Dwight Howard, nobody can stop him, period. Okay. Now, most of the players and teams actually like to select the players on position 5, very mobile. What that means? Run the floor, run the transition, don't wait him long time. So most of the players like to play that fast break with the 5 position, even as we can see now and be witness that so many players, now even in NBA, especially in Europe, so many teams playing small ball, right? Small lineup with the position 4. Let's say I'm 6'8", and I will definitely in this era I will play position 4. Let's say because I'm 203, 204, and now when I was dominating the game, I played position 2, position 3. So I really, what that means? That means that I handle the ball great. Okay, when I now making practices, especially morning practices, I always divide on the guards and the big guys. So we are playing, when I give some kind of drills for big guys, I also play back to the basketball and face to the basketball. Let's say 3.5, 4 meters. So I always emphasize when you catch the ball, if you catch the ball and you want to play back to the basket, I want you to see the movement like a dream shake, like Hakeem has, to see behind you and to try to unbalance your man. And most of the time, I'm using, when I want to play face to the basketball, close to the basketball, to do back pivots, left or right, and then make a good choice. Now, I always, when I see some videos about some players, I want to see his own creativity, what that means, how you read the defense. Okay, and then you're going to see. For example, if you have a big guy who is 6'10", 6'11", that is 208, 210. Okay. If he's right-handed, 3 things very important for me is that you make one strong dribble from, let's say, right side of the offensive basket, and then go in the middle of the paint and hook shot. Left shoulder, right hand. Second thing, in defense, just to raise the hands all the time. Don't make blocks like this. Make blocks like this, like in volleyball. Why? Because when you do this, you go in the cylinder of the defender and you're going to make foul. This, you're going to make block. And third, make a free throws. Those 3 things, Dule Vujošević learn to, let's say, very average players before they come to Partizan on position 5. That is Peković and Marić. He teach them only those 3 things, and they dominate the EuroLeague, and they make huge money, period. That's it. Everything more of that is great. Okay, we're talking about fadeaway, jump shot, Hakeem Olajuwon, fake, return the same basket, same leg, same hand, first rim, second rim, put back up and under, go in the middle, left hook. So there is so many things that you can work. The most important thing is to use a space as much as you can, cut the number of the dribbles, because you as a big man, you don't need more than 2 dribbles, period, because you want to catch the ball, let's say 3.5 meters from the basketball, right? From the board. So you want to punish your defender with less dribble. Why? Because you know if you put 4 or 5 dribbles, then the guard can steal the ball, right? If you're a good passer, right? So first thing I want to all the bigs see the floor, so see how defender is actually defend you. Where is his position? Where are his legs? What you gonna attack? Is he on the middle? Is he on the side? What he's stopping you? And then you can use reverse. You can use fadeaway shots. You can use hook shots. You can make layup like a long one, like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. That his famous hook shots. You can all the time. You must use the contact. I'm asking all the time offensive player to actually initiate the contact. Why? Because natural reaction will be like this, and it's going to be foul, right? So that means you're going to step on the line and bring back your confidence. And of course, I also not only position 4, I like also my 5s to do pick and rolls and pick and pops. Why? They must be able to palm and shoot the ball from, let's say, 4 meters, right? Like Tim Duncan. And he is the last, actually, guy who is using backboard for jump shot, and he couldn't miss. He was preparing before every game, receiving the ball, back pivot with the left one, fake, direct on the middle, get back, jump shot using backboard. Or he make 2 dribbles in the middle, spin move over the right hand, jump shot using backboard. Very simple drills, every time score. And if you do that every time, that's going to be mechanic. That's very important. I'm asking also players to read the defender, for example, who is guarding you. If he's guarding you and he's ready to make, if you play pick and roll, for example, and he's trying to go high on hedge, you make fake screen and then 1 dribble, jump shot. I always like to use 2 legs, no layups, especially for bigs. Even I like guards. Why? Because when you penetrate and when you use 2 steps in the middle of the paint, if the defender catch you, you can always get the ball back, right? If you go with 1 hand, you're gonna injure yourself, you're gonna make turnover, right? Or you're gonna miss, right? So that's why I like, especially big guys and also guards, using 2 steps in the paint. So that position you can score every single time, and you can after that stop with 2 legs. You can even in that time you can make some fakes, right? Pump fake, pass fake, fake there, up and under, wherever you want. So that's for me the very important. I have so many drills to work with the bigs. I work with a lot of them. I improve their game. I give them confidence, and I give them all the time, whatever I do, guards or bigs, I give them game situation. I'm not giving them some kind of drill that they cannot use in the game situation. It's useless. I always give them game situation, and in that way, I also read them how they gonna see and how they gonna score. And I prepare all my players, all my life, who's gonna guard you and who you gonna guard. And that's the way you're gonna see how you're gonna beat them. Is he stand high? Is he weak in his legs? How he using his elbows? How he using his body? So those small things make big difference. So that's the way I work, and that's the way I like to work. And I think that's the best way to improve basketball, a way of making baskets very close to the basket. That's it.
This is what you said is very important. We are going for the video presentation, but before that, I would love to say what you said, you are giving game situation. That is very important. Many times when in the clubs I'm going to control the youth category work, I see that coming the YouTube drills from the online, that the coaches are using it, and they are doing that kind of what you are saying finishes, or that player not know, or he not need to use. And sometimes I'm asking from these coaches just this, which player has this finish in our league? And he's saying nobody. And then I'm asking, our player will be the first who will have this finish. And the next question, our player is one of the best player in the league. So you should need always to try to have experience, what you said, to give game situation finish, and against who, what really this player can practice and can use, and not to do something with the player that maybe you saw a drill on the YouTube or you saw from a famous player. This you can maybe just start and then maybe later to see this player developing or not developing. Now we are coming video presentation with lot of drills. This also, Mladen, you can comment how I will little commenting. This I was making for one clinic that I was putting a lot of drills that I was working with one of my ex-players, with Luka Kraljic, and then we are showing different finishes from the low post, from the high post, and what you mentioned that you like to play pick and pop. It is very important. If I can pick an import 5, I'm always trying to pick that kind of import 5 who has from pick and pop a mid-range shot or has a three-pointer shot, what is can be very interesting. Now coming, for example, video started for the warm-up, we can start that a player from behind and from forward with the outside hand finishing. So best should need to have 2 or 3 players on the individual training and not to have more than 2 or 3. But of course, the best to work with one player. And when one player coming set, I'm always saying for him that this is the best workout for you. But of course, you'll be very tired because there is no time for a break. So this guy, what we are doing, that is not a real individual training because there will be a lot of drills, but we did on 1 hour. So I'm saying for him the drill and he's showing for us. Now we are coming from, for example, offensive rebound and finish. I not see that coaches are practicing with their big players, the offensive rebound and the defensive rebound. So on the team training, on the individual training, we need some kind of situations to think. And also in some kind of drills, I will challenging my player that maybe even will be harder situation than on the game to improve. Very important thing, you can see now what we are doing on one side, we must to do on the other side also. You will see a lot of finishes later. This I said on the first episode, very important to say for your player that what you did, few kind of finishes, now is coming, it's up to your fantasy and you are finishing how you want. We are coming very simple drill, shooting from the high post. If not the coach making the passes, then the player, every pass must to go height of the chest, immediately catch and shoot. The player must to wait until the rebounder makes the rebound and from the movement to start. Before, when we were playing basketball, it was not a problem if playing Shaquille O'Neal and I don't know what kind of players and finishing everything under the hoop. Today, that is the minimum that your big player must to have a mid-range shot and, of course, a three-pointer shot also. That is normal. Now we are going for read and react. So you can see now we are going that, for example, coming the same situation, and we are practicing with our player that he is receiving the ball on the high post, but now the player is coming, he can't shoot, and he must to read and react which my hand is going up, and that side you should need to beat. So you can see my right hand is going up, he's going on the left side. So you can think always different drills, but very important not to make robots, not to make machines. You need to teach fakes for your players, and you must to force that they must to read and react. Of course, finishes can be layup, can be power layup. You can see sometimes he's finishing outside hand, inside hand. Also, sometimes you can stop bottom of the hoop. You can finish with floater. So you should need to give a lot of options for your players. But when at the senior team, when you see that you showed for your player 7, 8, 10 finishes and coming some kind of confusion, and he's maybe not the most clever player, then sometimes you need to be a ready coach to say, these 2 finish you have, and we are going for the perfection. Now again, read and react situation from the high post. You can see now coming other thing. So you need always to prepare for your players. And of course, when you have sets, the best that those players receiving the ball where from the set we're receiving the ball. Now we are going for that situation that he's beating the player and shooting when he's exactly beside of the defender. Because when you are beside the defender, that defender can't block you, just can make a foul, but also the other big player not have time to react for you. Let's say we are going from the low post, that the player is receiving the ball on the low post and we are going for shoot. Many times when coming big players to me, even import players, when they are playing on the low post, I see on them, they are just thinking about the fadeaway or they are just thinking about the dribble immediately. When you have a big player that on the game receiving the ball on the low post, making a pass 1 meter, 2 meters front of him and making a big step and scoring, the center will coming immediately closer to him. Now we are coming for the
Yeah.
next situation. We scored on the game from 5 meters, that player coming closer to us, and now we are going how we are beating the player and what kind of finishes we are doing. So you can see that he must to make a bump fake, must to make an indirect step, and now I'm explaining for him not to think that you are beating and finishing with the layup, that coming maybe another player and you are still playing with that player or playing with your same player. So now he was able to see finishing with outside hand. Now is coming bump fake, outside hand, reverse pivot. In that kind of situations, you need to show for your player minimum 2-3 kind of option, and after that he will increasing. So you saw the third option and try to be clever. What is the most simplest, easiest finish for your big player? And I can say for you, for the viewers, that I was a point guard, and when I started to be as a coach, for me was very hard that I need to learn how I'm working with the big players. This is a big challenge for us. We play different position and we need to educate ourselves. So now we are coming for an interesting thing what you see. We receive the ball on the low post, but somebody is helping on the off-ball side, and we are making pass on the off-ball side. So very important for our big players to teach when they are receiving the ball. They not just to think that they will finishing. Sometimes you can make without dribble, sometimes with the dribble, and you can see that after the pass, he wants to receive back the ball. And now we are going different situations that after receiving the ball on the off-ball side, sometimes he will running just directly, but you will see sometimes with a rolling we are receiving the ball. And again, we are going with different finishes. Mladen, you can add what you want. So
no, this is great. The most important thing here is actually, like I told you before, to position himself close to the basket. What that means, if he, for example, now passing you the ball on opposite side, and then the defender actually bump him, so he can use, like you said, the reverse pivot, and again be on the second jumping position on the free throw line, right? So he's able to make a good finish. Now, I'm asking here, for example, now, like you said, when he catches the ball, always to be offended. So if he wanna, also he can make a pump fake with the front pivot using left or right, depends. And then he can, if the defender is very close, to clear his hand, and after that to attack him very close. I like the reverse moves. Why? Because that's the way he gonna remove the defender in balanced position, and defender must catch him. That's why offense is always, for example, unpredictable, and maybe are 1 second in front of the defense, right? So defense can anticipate. That's it. So far, very good drills.
Yes. Now we are going for that. Again, we are on the low post, but denying us, putting a hand on that. And now we can't receive the ball on the low post because the ball is in the middle and we want to receive. We need to teach our big players that every time we need to be in that kind of position that we want to receive the ball or on the low post or on the high post, and then we are going for very easy, very quick finish. Now you can see challenge. There is coming, you can see three times the player is jumping, and I am pushing him in the air to be a challenge, to be stable. When he's making the offensive rebound, he's coming back stable. This is very good drill, for example, to make our center, our post player more tough, that after the offensive rebound, when they are pushing him, he is not losing his balance. And now is coming what I was talking about the first episode also. This situation is harder than on the game. This will never happening like this. And we are preparing our players for harder situations than what is happening on the game. And we can say all the players are enjoying. It's for them some kind of fun, that coming something interesting. And always you should need to use your coaching requisites, what you have in the gym, to make easier. I am working usually with my senior players weekly 4 or 5 times, usually in the club, beside the team trainings. I can't make the same drills because today for young players that is little annoying. You need always to make it different. Now you saw on one side, now it's coming the other side. Sometimes you can use some other stuff also. Sometimes I'm making big fouls on my big players that I'm preparing for them, that they need to score also when they are fouling them and to
In
get an
contact.
additional free throw. What you said for Duško Vujošević, it was very important that post players are scoring free throws, because usually post players gets the most fouls in basketball. Now at big players, Nikola Jokic, for example, we need to work with our big players also coordination and ball handling. That is the question, how we can improve them. But we need to work on it, because big players also can be a playmaker like Nikola Jokic, because when Nikola Jokic receiving the ball on the low post, practically he is becoming a playmaker, because he is creating, he's not just finishing. He is making pass on the strong side, pass on the elbow side. Now you can see a drill with two balls with different finishes. And after coming the drills that you will see how I am giving for this post player complicated things. So you can see this also you can do with the guards, what is coming. Now you can see he is finishing, giving me the ball. And what we learned, he gets back the ball. This you can do also, that you are going with two players and those players are giving the pass and not the coaches. Even you can do that somebody has the third ball or the fourth ball. And this post player finishing how finish now, finishing after from the low post, what is happening. And maybe then he is running out and receiving the ball on the high post or three-pointer line. This again, not happening on the court that you have three finishes in a row. But it's a challenge. It is much harder than on the game. Now, for example, the viewers, what you can see, you can see that he is doing different finishes, because I said for him, I was showing for you many options. Now it's coming up to your fantasy. Now we are going a little on the high post, that on the low post we didn't receive the ball, and we are moving up. And with this technique, we are turning, for example, face to face. So he didn't receive the ball on the low post and coming immediately a shot. After we are going that he is beating the player. So I had experience that sometimes I had in my senior teams 19, 20 years old post players. They not had a basketball education on their position. And I was the first coach that I started to do that kind of things. Then you must to be very clever, because you have one season. You need to be very clever what you are starting. But with slow steps, it's possible to make an educated player even on one season, if that player very much wants to work with you and has courage to try it on the game. Now we are going that he is receiving the ball, bump fake, beating the player with indirect step. You need to correct always the height of the dribble to be beside of your leg. You can see again different finishes. Now we are coming for the next drill. You can see that now we are making a fake inside, and then with our outside leg we are closing the player, and now they are coming the finishes. Also, when we are working with our big players, what you said, Mladen, we should need to say against who we are playing. Because when we are playing against a taller player, a shorter post player, a stronger, a weaker, a faster, a slower, we should need to react in offense different. And for this, we need to explain for our post players current techniques when you are using it. Now we had this fake to the middle, now coming fake to the side, and we are going inside in the middle, again, bump fake in the middle. Lot of countries where I was working, players are not using fakes because they not get education in the youth categories to use fakes, and they are playing very simple. But when you are tricky, when you are using fakes, often you can beat a better player. Let's say, for example, we were talking a lot about Yugoslavia. I was enjoying very much Dejan Bodiroga's fakes, and I can say for our viewers, that from Dejan Bodiroga, there is one detail. He was the slowest player ever in the Yugoslavian national team. Because when they went to the mountains and they were doing some tests, he had the test that he was the slowest player, and incredible with those fakes, what he did, what kind of advantages he was creating for himself.
Yeah.
You can see again the finishes and the fakes. So this is very important to work with your big players. And I'm saying for you, for the viewers, that I like to push my point guards to play on the low post. And that can be very big advantage if a point guard is catching and he knows to play against the point guard, even if the same height, the defender, or even the player is higher. But for this, you must have a point guard who has body and also has basketball IQ, that he understands how he should need to play on the low post.
Like you said before about point guards. Yesterday, I was watching Olympiacos against Monaco, and all the time they play point guard. Thomas Volkap is going under the basket very low, attacking those two small point guards, and then after that they create. So that's very important to emphasize. So many teams in top level playing that way.
Yes. Now coming the fadeaways that you can see, very important thing. Well, I can say that fadeaway, when I was a very young player, even I didn't know what is. And when I was facing with fadeaway and I saw, as a point guard, I started to learn it because we played Serbian basket 3-on-3 outside. And then you are playing for your joy. You can have creativity. And fadeaway, if you are doing on a right way, is really very hard shot that you need to practice a lot of with your post players. Usually when you are going for fadeaway, first they are turning face to face to the hoop and legs are parallel, but it's not a fadeaway shot. So there need to be a lot of correction. And you can see again what I'm doing. We were doing fadeaway shot, and now we are thinking that we score the basket from fadeaway, and now you are going for fadeaway step, but you see this player stops and or coming frontally pivot or coming reverse pivot, depending the defender standing little more on the left or the right side.
Yeah, that's true.
Now you can see how this player is tired, because this we did on 1 hour. So because I prepared this for a clinic and he had almost no break. So now we are going, let's see Nikola Jokic example, for example. We have a big player, but we wanted the big player sometimes knows to go inside with a drive also. And now we are preparing our big player how to use his height when he gets starting speed. So now we are going that he is receiving the ball, doing some bump fake, and or he's finishing strong with your from the first option, or he's doing a rolling, because we are talking about a big player who has advantage on his height under the hoop, so he should need to finish very simple. We need to prepare our post players. They have a 3-point shot, but also very simple way with 1 or 2 dribble. They know to broke the first line, and then they are going for some simply finish. We are going read and react, low post, high post. You can see now I am little defending the player, and that is the drill that, for example, he needs to read on which side I am, where I am, and trying to make good decision. Good decision to read where is the defender. Very important moment when the low post player receives the ball and putting the ball on the arm, should need to watch first back behind where is standing the defender. And also during the dribble, he should need to see where is the defender and to go opposite. We mentioned often Duško Vujošević, and we will mentioning him a lot, I think, in the next episodes also. Duško Vujošević said in one coaching clinic that in offense, we just need to do opposite what doing the defense. So if one player is on one side, go on the other side. If the defender's hands are down, shoot. If the defender hands are up, go for a drive. And that we should need always to read, and then we are becoming a player that we are more rich in options if we are talking about one-on-one.
Yeah. Great. That's a great job. That's a great job.
Now
That's,
we are
that's
going
great.
from the high post. We are going from the high post, some kind of read and react situations. And you can see, for example, just to tell for the viewers, in this court, we went every morning for individual training, but in this city, there are not so many basketball facilities. So the individual training was 7 in the morning. So every player must to wake up at 5:45, at 6. For me also was little hard to every day to wake up at 6 in the morning, and then I'm going for individual training. So we were not so happy, but we know that is very important, and we not have other option in the city. So
a job must be done.
Job must be done, and we are going 7 in the morning, what is not good for the body, not good for the organism. But this condition we have, and this we have to use. What I can do. Now coming finishes after offensive rebound. Coming again the same drill what I did in the beginning. But now I'm also making challenge on this player. And now when you are going for challenge and you are defending the big player little, you need to ask from him to use those techniques what you was teaching for him. And he needs to read and react very good. Sometimes I am bringing some more bigger things with what I am defending my player, and I like to block them. That is also a good team building. When the coach is blocking you and you are shouting, not in my house. Because you, as a coach, you need to work with your players to have a good relationship. Maybe on the team training, you are strict, you are disciplined, but when coming to individual training, he is investing from his time with you. Then you are a little more friendly, and then can come music, then they can come some interesting drills, because also you need to motivate this player that every day to come with you 7 in the morning. Anyway, he will say, I'm not improving, I'm not like it, I will not come, even if we are talking about players who are playing for salary. Now we are going for some shootings, so you can see it would be important to make it fast if you are doing any shooting with your big players. So you can see there is a basket, I'm catching the ball, and bam, going the pass. This also you can do with 3 players with 2 balls. You can say for the other player that how this player shooting, you are giving the pass immediately. When your post player is shooting nice and catching the ball nice, you can say for your players or you as a coach, you are starting to make bad passes. That you are starting to teach your post player that sometimes he will receiving a bad pass, but then also he needs to realize how he will shoot efficient. So this was the video presentation. We are trying always for our viewers, for you to prepare something that we are speaking about theory after we are trying to show practically. I think that not just followers, I'm saying I was again enjoying very much the talking with you, Mladen, because again, I'm feeling it myself when I was a young player in Yugoslavia, when we are talking about our memories and our experience. I don't know, do you have maybe something that you would love to add? Because I think I said everything what I planned.
To be honest, I think this show we upgraded. I think that we've more focused now on very important details. Okay, like I told you in the beginning, I think that also this show must have some kind of let's say funny moments, right? But very important thing, education. We try to educate players. We try to educate coaches to if they make some mistakes, don't repeat it, right? Or we can do practical, like you show now. Working with in low post with the bigs under the basket, which is very important. I think that in this modern era, I think that very important is if you have in top level the guy, big guy who is making big difference, right? Now, for example, I don't see so many big guys who can create their own points, their own shots like that was before. Now
Yes.
they're depending more for pick and rolls. And that's why I think that me and you emphasizing the importance of making big difference with the success and losing games if you have those players who are making the big changes in your playing basketball in selection from the youth. If you work with, let's say, a big guy who has good DNA to become big one, right, with the size and everything, and if you give them this, let's say, weapon or basketball tools that he can beat his opponent one-on-one, I think the sky is the limit. So that's why I think that we are doing good job, and I think that this is just the beginning of some very good things that me and you can reach and me and you can done. So I think that this show was very good, and we really emphasize in the details, which is very important to make big difference.
Yes. I think also I would love to encourage our viewers that still you can send your feedbacks, you can send for us messages and email what you can find on our website www.basketballmentors.com. And how I said for you in the beginning, in the next episode we are bringing you another guest, and three of us we will talking about very interesting basketball topics and also basketball anecdotes, basketball stories you can expect. I would love to wish for everybody to have a nice day and slowly finishing basketball season everywhere, the playoffs also. Who is still in the playoff, have a good luck, and slowly coming the summer break. And when coming the summer break and you are as a player or as a coach not coming for trainings, that you can enjoy our episodes at Basketball Insights. And I would love to encourage you to share us everywhere on the social media where you can, because that is a help for us, because we would love to grow episode by episode. All the best for everybody and have a nice day. Bye-bye.
All the best. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.